I'm here waiting for my trip to Italy in a couple of weeks to go play in a little music festival that I participate in every year, except when there's a pandemic. So let's try this walk. Okay, come on. This chapel, dedicated to Saint Bernard of Menton, was built in 1610. That date was inscribed on one of the beams. Saint Bernard was born around the year 1020. Around the year 1050, he founded 2 hospices on high passes in the French Alps to help weary sick travelers and to house hikers. According to texts found in the village in 1634, there was no adobe around the chapel, nor chalice, linens for the altar, nor cross. In 1653, the local bishop visited the chapel and saw that it had finally been decorated, lacking only a chalice. The chalice was donated in 1701 and placed on the wall. In 1984, the chapel was restored by local volunteers, most notably by a citizen of the town, Joseph Colomb. Oh gosh. Did you see that? Did you see that stag Go over the hill? My goodness, I hope I caught that. I just love this little prairie here. So calm, protected from the wind. About 3 years ago, I came up to here in the mid to late spring, I think it was. This was the first point that I saw snow, but I kept going anyway because I thought once I start going down again, the snow will have melted. But little did I realize that it had nothing to do with what altitude I was at. There was snow because I was approaching the north side of the mountain, the colder side, and the snow lasts a lot longer there. But I kept on going, and I came to deeper and deeper snow. I had my mountain boots on and everything, but I was almost up to my knees, and I'd have to pull my leg out, put it in again, and eventually my feet were getting all wet and frozen. But I kept going, figuring I know this path really well, and I'll just get back to a point where there was no snow. But I got to the other side of this path, and I started going down, but there was no more path. And I was disoriented because the snow was all over everything, and I couldn't figure out which trees I usually go through, etc., etc. So I sat down, I took off my shoes, I took off my socks, I let them dry in the sun for a little while. I tried to get a GPS position on my phone, but since it's all woods on that side, I couldn't get any position. It kept showing that I was on the other side of the valley, which was ridiculous. So eventually I heard the spring, the little brook water running down. So I started following that, figuring I could follow that down and eventually get back to the road, but I wasn't really sure of myself. So I finally got through to my husband, and I tried to tell him where I was, send him my position, and I kept walking around in circles to try and figure out where I could get the best. Oh, look at this. This is a deer track. Where I could get the best GPS position. Yeah, these guys come around here a lot. And eventually, I had to sit down a couple more times and take off my shoes, take off my socks, wring them out, and put them back on. It wasn't too cold out. My feet were freezing, but it wasn't too cold out because it was springtime. And I could see on each side of this little brook that was about 12 inches wide, there was like 2 inches patch of green, because the water had melted the snow. So I was trying to walk down there. And eventually my husband made it to where I was because he knows these mountains like the back of his hand. And he rescued me and took me back to civilization. That was wild. That was the first time in my life, 3 years ago,
that I said to myself, wow, when people get lost in the mountains, it really, they're right, it really is easy to lose your way. You know, incredible. But I made it. And I'm eternally grateful to my country husband. He's really amazing that way. He's got an amazing sense of direction. Let's see if anybody's behind me. Nope. I guess I'm not going to see any more game. Coming up to my favorite spot on this path, right around this bend here. I think it's Pookie's favorite spot too. This is always his pause cafe, if you like, his coffee break spot. It's like our own private little waterfall. Okay, this brings me to the end of our circuit today. I had a really good time. I wish I had more time to walk around every day, but I'm much too lazy and I have too much practicing to do personally. But I'm sure it'll be great the next time I come out. Try and pick something different. And thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the videos if you do, if they tell you something, and that'll inspire me to make more. Thanks. Bye.